Welcome to Access and Conversation, navigating motherhood and dance in conversation with Nadia Adame and company dancer Yuko Juma. Today's guest, Nadia Adame, is a multidisciplinary artist, actress, writer, filmmaker, and award-winning dancer and choreographer. She has worked internationally with Access Dance Company, Candid, Artopeda Dance Company, Patatariba, and Mark Brew Company, among others. Nadia co-directed with Mark Sweat's company Y, a media and performing arts company based in Spain and the UK. Nadia's acting career includes theater projects and of award-winning independent films in North America and Europe. You can learn more about Nadia by visiting her website at www.nadiaadame.com. Please join me welcoming Nadia Adame in conversation with Yuko Juma.
Thank you so much, Nadia, for being here. And I am so excited to talk with you today. And the first question is you have building a dance career across country. Can you share how has value from the country to country?
Hi, Yuko. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a great pleasure. Yes, I've been in the United States, I've been in Spain, I've been in England, based in all those three countries, those three places. And it actually, I think it varies a great deal. In Europe, because we have certain laws in place, people who have contracts, they have more protection than in the US. For instance, being a mother there or being pregnant there, you have a minimum, I think, is 4 months of maternity leave, paid maternity leave. So you still receive your salary and you can still keep your job. So at the end of that, you can either take some unpaid leave or you can go back to work. In the United States, this doesn't exist. There are companies that do offer that kind of support, but in general, it's not regulated by the government.
I see. How different is the dance community in Europe in comparison to the United States?
Well, I think the world dance community is very small. I think many countries, you just know people across the globe, right?
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to some friends that dance with me in London. And then they call me and they say, hey, we were at a festival in Italy. And I'm, oh, great. And he said, you cannot believe it. We met somebody who danced with you while you were at Access. We met Jacques Polendini, who is a former Access dancer too. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah. So I think the community is very international for dance, especially integrated dance. We all know each other a little bit, or we know of each other. I think in Europe, I think there is a lot more support for artists. There is more money, public money for artists, both independent and as companies. There is also not only funding from your own country. So I'm from Spain. So Spain has a series of financial support, but also you can access European support. So you can get all of that benefit from that. In the US, there is not as much governmental support, I think, for artists and for companies. So I think in that sense, the community, it's more supported in Europe than in the States. The community itself, it's lovely everywhere. The community of dancers, the community of choreographers. Again, you know each other, so you kind of really try to support each other in that sense.
How about the disability? Is Europe and America is different and the same? How much support?
Yeah, that's very curious because in the States you have more accessibility to things. So you always have restrooms, bathrooms that are accessible in places. Most locations, unless you go to maybe in cities like San Francisco, New York. Most
Like
places
all
are
the building.
completely, yeah, they're completely wheelchair accessible. And in Europe, that's not the case. Physical accessibility is very difficult. For instance, in London, most studios are older, so you have to go upstairs, or they don't have the washrooms and the bathrooms so accessible for wheelchairs or for different types of abilities, right? Whether it's deafness or blindness, or so in the US, that is more, the physical access is a lot more. But on the other side, when you are an artist in Europe, well, in London, in the UK, and you are traveling, you get a lot of support from the government.
Interesting. Thank you. When you made the decision to have a child, and did you have any concern about what would happen to your professional dance career, or you're actress and also writer to any professional career?
Yeah, well, I think there's always a question inside of you. There's you think, how is my life going to change with a child? And most people always tell you all the beautiful things, pregnancy is great, and you have this little baby, and everything is so beautiful, and romanticize the idea of. But there are things that are very, very difficult, especially being an artist. For me, my pregnancy was horrible. Like, I will not recommend it to anybody. But then I have friends.
First baby was, how old are you at the time when your pregnancy?
37.
37.
No, that I look very old.
No, you look great.
Yeah, and it was a horrible pregnancy, and it's just I was sick the whole 9 months, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, so it was really bad. So as soon as people were saying, "Oh yeah, pregnancy is great," I'm like, and then when the baby came, it was wonderful. But I also have had a little bit of postpartum depression, so that was difficult too. So I like to my friends who had kids after me, I always tell them the truth. I'm like, it's beautiful and it's very, very difficult. And then being an artist, you always want to go back to what you do, because especially if you're an independent artist and freelancer, you think that people are going to forget you, and then they're not going to call you for any more jobs. So you want to go back to it. The one thing I will say is, if you really want to do it, you can do it. You simply have to plan a little bit different than you maybe thought, or you have to be open to the change. For me, when I decided to try to get pregnant, and that was also a very difficult journey for me. So it didn't happen just when I wanted it. It took me years to get there. Then I enjoyed those moments, the moments that I really liked. And but I also try to plan for what was going to happen after.
Right.
Yeah.
When you are getting pregnancy, did you work at the company, or you are independent artist?
No, I was an independent performer at that time, which made things very difficult for me, financially, right? Because if you're in a company, like I say, in Europe, you would have 4 months of paid leave, so that would be a lot easier. But no, I didn't. The thing is that I turned it around and took that opportunity to write. So that's something I could do on my own time. I was not making money, but likely I have a partner who's very supportive, and so we were able to work that financial stress out. So I took the time to write. I took the time to choreograph a little bit. I took the time to maybe teach one class here and one class there, just to keep myself and my emotionally high, because also when you have a kid, everything goes to the kid. All your energy, everybody's energy goes to the kid, and you're kind of disconnected. You're not yourself. You're not doing what you used to doing for so many years. So you have to find those things that are for you only, and not feel guilty about it either. Don't say, oh, I should be with my baby. Well, if it's an hour a day, you can take a class, right? Your baby's
Right.
gonna be fine.
So how did you like find the balance between the motherhood and the career? Like you hire a babysitter, or like once kids starting go to school, you have a much free time?
Yeah. So when they're babies, I felt like I would go to classes and I would take the baby with me in one of those carriers. I had a wrap, and so the baby was completely inside. And so I would dance with the baby. I would choreograph. Yeah, I would just put it in there, and I would just, you have to balance things, right? But I would just dance. I choreographed. I remember my first child was 2 months old, and I was choreographing an opera. And so the baby was in my carrier, and I was choreographing, I was dancing, and I was doing this and doing that. And there are videos somewhere of the actors and the singers and the dancers looking at me and video me. So that was a lot of fun, because then I still did what I needed to do for myself artistically, but I was carrying my baby with me. So I think when they're babies, within the first, 8 months or so, it's a lot easier. It's after. From there until they go to school, that's more difficult. But also, again, I have a partner who is very supportive. So between the two of us, we would say, okay, I need some time to take the baby. And balance that.
Yeah, I remember you have 2 beautiful daughters. How old are they now?
So 7. Now I have to tell you my age. 7 and 5.
7 and 5.
Yes.
Okay. How was the
now it's
second
great.
baby?
Now it's great because, sorry, what was your question?
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Now it's great because they go to school. Well, now they're not, but they're going to school, and when they go to school, or they go to preschool, or daycare, it's great. It's a lot freer. I feel like, okay, now I can get my career back 100%. Before it was, I could get my career, 60, 70, 80%. But now it's like, whoa, now it's 100. Now it's my time again. So that's good. That's very good. And also I teach them dance. We dance every day in the house. One of them, she loves doing it, but she's very shy. So she just likes to do it by herself or with me only. And sometimes she goes like that. But the other one is very open and wants to do everything, and wants to see, ballet classes on YouTube and do that for hours. So it's nice.
I just curious, like after first baby and you have a second kids, was really also challenging, or feels more like not less stressful, the second baby than the first baby?
It was challenging because you have 2 people who are depending on you instead of one.
Right.
So that is very challenging because they're different ages, right? So they're 2.5 years apart. So while one was going, I was taking one to daycare, the other one had to be with me because I just had her. So the logistics of it, it's more difficult. But then it's also nice because then they can also play a little bit with each other. So it gives you a bit of,
once getting old.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit more free time in a way. It's not really free time. It's never free time. Once you're a parent forever. Which is great. I'm not saying it's not great. But you need a break.
Right, definitely.
Yeah. I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. I love my kids. I'll do anything for them. And I need mommy break. 8
Yeah,
o'clock, I
definitely.
tell them I turn into a pumpkin. I'm not a parent anymore. That's
I
it.
love it. Do you guys also get like a support from the parents? I mean, you parents are in Spain.
Well,
How?
yeah, yeah, that is something I think when people say it takes a village,
Mm,
it really takes a village. Take
mm,
that as a true statement. For me, for us, we haven't lived in a country where we had family in. My
mm,
kids have lived in 3 different countries now, and they're very
mm,
young. And in neither of those countries, we had families. So for us to, with kids, the good thing is that you always meet other parents. So you always
mm,
have a little bubble of friendship there.
mm,
Um, but we had to rely a lot on each other, my partner and
mm,
I. And we had to, try to help friends and try to get help from friends. And I think
mm,
it's nothing to be ashamed of, but it truly takes a village. Sometimes my
mm,
mom comes to visit. She lives in Spain, and she comes to visit, and she stays for 2 or 3 months. So
mm,
that's a
nice.
relief. That's like my vacation time. I'm ready to, yeah. In fact, when she comes, we take generally a weekend off and we go somewhere without the kids to be
Mm,
adults. And she takes care of the kids for that weekend. But you need to have a support system, I think. And I mean, you could do it by yourself. I'm sure people are doing it
mm,
every day, right? But I think it's a lot more difficult for sure.
mm.
Takes a village.
Yeah,
Don't forget your village.
right. Do you have any like advice for mother to be who wanted to keep growing their professional live while navigating like a motherhood?
I think I'm very organized, so
Mm,
I kind of yeah, I kind of plan some things, but then sometimes they don't work. So you also have to be flexible. So I think
mm,
flexibility is a good trait to have, and
mm,
be okay with not doing everything perfect. I'm very perfectionistic, and I try to do everything like, and sometimes I had to bang myself against the wall and say, okay, just let it
mm,
go. It's okay. We humans, we're not perfect. And if you have a partner, try to plan that with your partner. It's
mm,
a if you both decide to have a baby or to adopt a baby, then it's both of yours responsibility, right?
mm,
The issue, I think, in a lot of cultures, including in the Western culture, is that mothers are the ones, or there is one female figure who is the one that takes on most of the responsibility. And it shouldn't be
mm,
like that. It should be half
mm,
and half. Um, Also, if you have to stop working, then
mm,
plan for that. See if the financial income that your partner has or that you have independently, if you can make it happen. Um, and get your village ready.
great.
It's a beautiful thing,
Yeah, it's a
and
beautiful
again,
thing.
it's a very difficult thing. It's probably the most
Yeah,
challenging job you will have,
yeah.
most challenging thing you will have in your life. It's not a job really, but
Mm.
yeah.
I did a few babysitter a few years ago, and it's just I holding baby inside of the house and nothing moved, nothing changed, and I just got really scared. Oh my God, I have to do this like few years. Once I have a baby, I just stuck in the house and I don't have any communication from the outside. It makes me so scared, and I just feels like I'm outside of the society or something. I'm just feel totally alone. So yeah, once if I have a in the future I have a kids, like how I deal with the kids, but at the time how I can still keep continuing my career and walk outside. I definitely I need a support from my husband and my community. my parents and my family. But it was really thankful to hear your experience, and I hope that maybe a lot of other dancers and thinking about having a babies and a family. I think that was really helpful. Thank you so much, Nadia.
No problem. If you decide to be a mother, you're gonna be an amazing mother, Yuko. You're an amazing person. That's all it takes. And I think, I try not to give advice to people when they decide to be parents, because I think it's a very individual experience, and it all depends of where you come from, what is your personality, who do you have around, what is your financial, stability or not. But I think you learn as you go. I never read books about being a parent, but I feel like I think about how to give my kids the knowledge of simply being a good human being. And I think you have that within inside of you, so you will communicate that to your kids, and you will learn as you go, and they will throw up all over you every day, which mine have. It was just like I will hold it and I would say, here you goes, woo, and change again, and more diapers, and and now that they're older, it's like more snacks in my bag because they're really snacky. So you will figure out as you go. And it's beautiful and it's difficult. But as long as your heart is in it and your village is in it, you're good to go.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Nadia.
No problem. My pleasure, Yuko.